boyfriend acted like a child at my family dinner, and I'm turned off.
You're going to bed.
My boyfriend, 29 male, and I, 22 female, have been together since January, so about 10 months. He kind of has a pattern of being weird or childish in situations involving food. I found myself very embarrassed by how he acted at Thanksgiving with my family today, and I want to know if I'm being too harsh or dramatic. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Awkward TG 2021, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Vincent with Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just gonna know what we're gonna do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. The first thing was that when my mom was about to start preparing the turkey for roasting, he stuck his hand inside it and pulled out the little bag with the giblets. She asked what he was doing. He asked if he could give them to the dog. She said no, they don't feed him anything besides dog food, as they don't want him learning to beg when they're eating. He then got a knife and fork and started dissecting bits of the giblets on the counter, staring at them closely and touching them. I had to remind him to wash his hands. All the while, my mom, brother's girlfriend, and I were trying to actually get stuff cooked. I could tell my mom was annoyed. At the dinner itself, he commented out loud several times on food that he didn't like. Not just politely turning it down, but comments like, "Ew, I hate gravy. And this stuffing has onions? Onions are gross." He asked what type of cranberry sauce there was and then said, "Oh, that's the gross kind." My family definitely noticed. They looked uncomfortable. My mom even offered to make additional food if he wanted something else in particular. He said he was fine with what was there, but hardly ate anything. My mom felt bad afterwards, and I had to reassure her that it wasn't her fault at all. Towards the end of the meal, he left the table. I figured he was just getting something or going to the bathroom. My dad got up shortly after. He later told me that when he went into the kitchen to bring out dessert, he found the dog eating the giblets from earlier off the floor and my boyfriend in the act of scraping a pile of food from various dishes into the dog bowl. My dad said that he was giggling himself as he did it. He was explicitly told not to feed him people food and then did it in secret like a child and even got caught like a child.
Opie's dad's like, hey,
Yeah.
we told you couldn't do it. Opie's boyfriend's
Right.
like, I'm sorry.
It's like you have to go in timeout for the minute, however many years old you are is how many minutes you have to be in timeout.
29
He's there for a half hour.
No. And then they're like, and you're going to have to take a bath after that. He's like, no, not a bath.
And we're going to take away your iPad.
Yeah.
No. 5 more minutes.
I have never seen another adult do something like that. Then back at the table for dessert, he loaded his plate with 2 to 3 times as many sweets as everyone else took on the first round that they were being passed around. 90% of what he ate was dessert. When cleanup time came, everyone, including my elderly grandparents, volunteered to help except him. I had to ask him. He did a half-effort job and kept inspecting the turkey carcass. He was pulling bones apart and making a mess of it. My dad, irritated from the earlier incident with the dog, snapped at him to either put it in the fridge or leave it alone. He went back into the dining room and ate more pie while the rest of us were finishing cleaning up the kitchen. Overall, I am majorly embarrassed by his behavior.
Yeah.
I feel like the mom of a little kid, except a kid wouldn't know better. I shouldn't have to correct the behavior of a grown man, right? And before you ask if he was just anxious about meeting my family or something, he's met them all before several times. Even if he hadn't, that wouldn't explain it because he's done similar things before in front of his own family and when it's just the two of us. I'm tired of the weird way he acts around food. I'm tired of worrying if he's going to get weird looks from other people. As someone in my 20s, I shouldn't be getting reports from my parents that my boyfriend did something rude and immature. They questioned if I felt like he was on my same level. I feel like I'm generally happy with him, and then things like this pop up, and I remember that he has this other side that really turns me off. He's older than me, but I feel like I'm the older one sometimes. So I guess my questions are, how important is this? Is there any chance he'll grow out of it? And what would help that happen? How would you recommend I bring it up to him? I don't feel comfortable bringing him around my family again unless he acts normal, so I can't just pretend nothing happened.
What do you mean grow out of it?
Yeah.
He's 29. What do you mean grow
He's
out
like,
of it?
Well, at this age,
Yeah.
you know, it's very common.
Boys will be boys.
Right.
You
At
know
this
how it
devel-
is.
At this developmental stage, he's
Yeah.
going through a big change.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
turning 30.
Because it's the kind of thing where it's like, I mean, you could try to talk to him about it, but you also can't control people and shouldn't you shouldn't have someone that you want to change this
drastically.
much. Yeah. But there are some comments here. Shay Bridgeman says, I would go crazy over the dog thing. It's not just about begging, it's about pancreatitis. Jesus F, that could end your dog's life or at least be several thousand in treatment. Dogs' digestive systems are set up to basically handle one major protein at a time. When you add new proteins and fat, dogs can get very ill. I mean, it was disrespectful too, but Jesus. F with my dog and you're out. 20-some years in and off in vet med, and holidays like this are just chock full of emergency pancreatitis. The rest is also ridiculous. He's almost 30, not 13.
He's not 13-year-old behavior. This is 7-year-old behavior.
Yeah, for real. He's acting like a toddler. This would be a deal breaker for me. Sorry. Opie says, I didn't know anything about this. My parents got the dog after I went to college. They joked that he's their replacement kid, haha. So I never grew up with dogs or have any myself. This is horrible to think about. I am so glad my dad stopped him in time. I'm even more pissed now. And we have an update. I talked about it more with my parents yesterday and realized if I'm embarrassed to honestly answer their questions about my relationship, then that's a bad sign. I found myself trying to give a bunch of excuses to make his weird behavior seem less bad than it was. I also outright lied a couple of times about other things in our relationship. Eventually, this got exhausting, and I just confessed that I'd effed up and had no good excuse. My mom asked what I thought would be best for me. The answer at that point was obvious. I also left out some details when I wrote my first post. I guess I was too embarrassed to give the full picture.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, God. I want to provide it now as a confession thing, but also because I can now more clearly see how effing weird this man was and just want people to validate that after I spent so long in denial. So the giblets he fed to the dog, he fished them out of the trash bin to do that. My mom had thrown them away after he cut them up and made a mess on the counter. He would have needed to dig through the effing garbage to find them again. My parents found chocolate bars missing from the cabinet. Those were not part of the dessert that was available to everyone. We think that he snuck them at some point, like a little kid. His general diet is atrocious. It's like what a 5-year-old would eat, except I know there's tons of kids who eat way better. Pizza, chicken nuggets, pasta, fries, chips, grilled cheese, mac and cheese, Lucky Charms, and other sugary cereals, ice cream, candy. Not a single thing that isn't white, beige, or some hideous artificial shade of orange and yellow. Whenever I'd try to share my food or get something else for him, he'd snap at me angrily. He doesn't have a job. I know. Fully expecting to be raked over the coals for ever accepting that in a partner at this age. When I finally admitted it to my parents, they were like, "Are you serious?" I had told them that he was in school and living with his parents to save money. He actually was thinking about going back to school, which never took the form of any action, and lives with his parents because where the F else can he live with no income? I guess I thought I could help motivate him. I thought that that's what you do as partners, support each other like a team. Now I can see that there never was any team. It was just him doing what he wanted. Because he was broke, I also ended up paying for most of the stuff that we did together when we went out. Some people asked about the part where I said he did similar weird food things with his family. You guys wanted to know how his family reacted. They didn't. They'd either pretend to not notice or else thought it was normal. I'm not sure which. He did things in front of them like blowing bubbles in his drink, cutting grains of rice in half with his fork over and over, and eating ice cream directly out of the container instead of spooning it into his bowl.
I'm guilty of that.
I do think, because a lot of people have been saying it, but also I kind of agree, is this some sort of like, you know, he has autism, or
That's what
has he been diagnosed with something?
that feels like the only possible explanation.
Because this feels really extreme for
Yeah.
yeah.
I would just like assume and hope that
yeah.
there would be other signs against that.
I guess I'm just
But-
surprised that OP hasn't mentioned it at all.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
thought it might come up.
Yeah.
There was one time that his parents were going to take all of us out to dinner, and when discussing which restaurant to go to, they eliminated a bunch because they didn't have anything that boyfriend would eat. His mom would sometimes serve him a completely separate meal if whatever she'd made for the family was something that he refused to eat. By the way, I hope you don't refuse to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Just search OK Storytime. Yeah, he only wanted me to do things to him, but didn't want to do anything for me. He criticized me for my natural hair down there, and then for having stubble after shaving it. Like, what do you want? He criticized my body so that my front airbags weren't big enough. I don't even know, guys. I don't know what his issue was. So that's pretty much that. I'm unspeakably embarrassed I ever dated this loser. Sad thing is, if not for my parents insisting on talking with me about it, I'd probably still be dating him for who knows how long, thinking that this was just what it's like. Well, it doesn't have to be. I'm very grateful that they helped me see that he wasn't normal. Thanks for all of the same comments on my first post. Seeing that consensus also made me realize that I needed to leave. Yeah. And there's the end of that story.
I hope this guy gets help. Because
yeah.
It seems like his parents just kind of let him do whatever and haven't actually got him the proper help he needs, which is an issue.
I might miss my wife's birth because I can't miss a work presentation.
I can't stress enough how much you'd have to just quit your job.
My problem is that I, 31 male, have a huge work presentation scheduled during the week that my wife, 29 female, is due to give birth to our first child in the first week of August. It will require me to be on the other side of the country for a couple of days. I initially tried to lobby for another time, but that week was the only one that worked for both sides. By the way, this comes from user problemguy1234, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so just tell us what you would do in the comments if you so choose. And OP says, the chances are good that I won't miss the birth of my child, but there are no guarantees. This uncertainty has been weighing heavily on me as I want to be present for the birth, but I also feel obligated to my work. The thing is, I really can't miss this presentation. The investors that my company is pitching to are mostly interested in a project I've been working on, and since I've done most of the work on it, there really isn't anyone who can replace me. I have to be there to explain the core concepts and answer their questions. On the other hand, I wouldn't be of much use in the delivery room, especially for the first few hours. Plus, my mother-in-law could easily replace me without any loss. I badly want to be there for my wife and child, but I think I do them more good being away for this presentation than at the hospital. This is because I will almost certainly lose my job if I miss this presentation. Of course, my wife is absolutely furious. I honestly wish there was a stronger word than furious to describe how upset she is with me. I completely understand why she's upset, but there isn't much I can do. I have tried to explain the situation to her 1,000 different ways, but she won't hear it and has withdrawn her affection from me. Part of me is afraid of what will happen if I don't go, but I might be more afraid of what will happen if I do. I worry that my wife will never forgive me for missing our child's birth, which would absolutely tear me apart. Am I making a huge mistake, or am I doing the right thing for my family? I don't think there is a way for me to win either way. This situation has left me feeling trapped between professional obligations and personal milestones. The stress is almost unbearable. I know my decision will have long-term consequences on my relationship and my career, and that makes it even harder to reconcile. And there's an edit. Just to be clear, my boss didn't actually tell me I would lose my job. He just told me I would regret it. I'm speculating that I would eventually be fired once they found an adequate replacement, which would probably take a few months. A lot of this is speculation, but I am risk-averse. Some may ask why I can't just find another job. I probably could, but for reasons I won't go into, I would be better off staying here. Catcher of Souls says your boss is a big old dingus. Your investors will understand, and if the project is so valuable, they'll still be interested. OP says, he isn't the nicest guy in the world. I hadn't thought of contacting the investors, but that might possibly work. Don't know how my boss would react if I did it behind his back. I know he wouldn't okay it otherwise. Sovereign says, just make sure to go to the birth of your next first child. I mean, in all honesty, I'd rather go to my kid being born. OP says, I want to go, but I'm not sure it's an option. I think it's more important to have a job so that I can provide for my family, and we have an update 1 week later. So first things first, I took a lot of mistreatment in my last post, which I thought was unfair. I'm not a coward as many of you suggested. Just because I don't always take the most aggressive approach doesn't make me a bad guy. I'm just careful not to make mistakes. Many of you also implied that I was looking for a way to avoid the birth because I'm uncomfortable with it. It is true that I don't deal with blood or some bodily fluids well, so I'm not excited about that part of it. But I wasn't looking for a way out. I thought, and I still believe this, that I just wouldn't be very good support in the delivery room. There's a good chance I would throw up, especially if my wife defecates on herself or if I'm asked to cut the umbilical cord. These are all things that I was considering because I didn't want to become a distraction in the delivery room. As for how the situation resolved itself, I'm happy to report that everything is going to be okay. Hallelujah.
I'm going to do the presentation.
I divorced my wife. We have no issues anymore.
I have no wife now, so no problem there.
And yes, for everyone who's like, you don't know the exact, I know you don't know the exact day, but you know which month the child is coming usually.
I was born a month early.
I was born 2 weeks early. I'm sure they knew within like a
I think they have a
30-day
range.
time frame.
I think they have a range.
They're
but
pretty
sometimes you
good
can't-
at guessing.
It's a good guessing game.
It's a pretty easy guessing game. They like to cook
Really?
for about 9 months.
It's only 365
Just
days
about.
in the year.
OP says, I talked with my boss yesterday, and I was really assertive. I told him that I couldn't be away for that long with my wife's due date being that close, so we would have to find some sort of compromise. I suggested what some of you told me to do, which is to tell him I could only come out for a day, and then I would immediately fly back. As for why I can't do it virtually, I really just need to be there in person. It would make everything a lot easier. After some hand-wringing, he agreed. The plan is for me to fly out the day before the presentation and then fly back after I give the presentation. In all, I shouldn't be in California more than 28 hours, so I'll be back by my wife's due date since it is several days later in the week. Before everyone gets upset, I already cleared it with my wife. I called her after I spoke with my boss and asked her if she was okay with it. She told me it was fine, and she's not one of those people that would say it if it wasn't really okay. I know that the whole incident upset her, so hopefully things will calm down around here soon. She seemed fine today, so I think everything will be okay now. Thanks to all of you that gave constructive advice. It helped me out a lot. And there's another update a month later. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh,
Can you imagine it's the one day he's gone?
yeah, I bet it is.
Nah, I think he was probably there for it.
I
You
bet
have
it
to tell us if you
is.
puked or not. It's required.
No, it's not.
I need to know.
I think this is bad because I saw the
I'm
first
sweating.
sentence.
Ugh.
To those of you who told me not to go, you were right. I flew out to California last Tuesday night. I was supposed to give the presentation on Wednesday and fly back Wednesday night, but that never happened. Early Wednesday morning, I got a call from my mother-in-law that wife had gone into labor. By the time I caught a flight home, the baby had already been born. He is healthy, by the way. I made the wrong decision, and I know it'll take time for my wife to get over this. If anyone else is in a similar position, please don't repeat my mistake. Be there for your wife and child, and don't assume your baby will be late or on time. And there are some more comments here.
Wah, wah, wah. That's what it is.
You man.
Man, oh man.
Oh man, oh man. Who could have seen that coming?
The baby heard all of this and was like,
Oh, that baby said, I will wait. Tell me when he's on the plane to California.
Is this actually a case of hubris? Because this is a month after update.
Yeah.
So did you have a month to get somebody else up to speed on your presentation so that you could be with your wife?
I'm assuming the baby's just like roughly a month old right now.
Ay, ay, ay. I just, okay.
He had many months though to get him up on the presentation.
I hope, man, the presentation better have gone flawlessly.
Yeah,
and you
I-
better be making $1
If
million.
they didn't
Time out.
make that deal,
I also love how he's like, everyone was bullying me. Like, come on, guys.
guys, don't
like,
bully me. It's all
I'm-
fine.
Like, I worked it out.
She'll forgive me eventually. Will you forgive yourself?
From Proton Beep Ray. No one batted an eye when a pro hockey player took a playoff game off to be there for the birth of his kid. I'm pissed at your boss more than anything. OP says, I've been thinking about changing companies. I already have one soft offer with slightly better money and better benefits. A deleted user says, I agree with Proton Beep Ray. Your boss is an a-hole. I'm sure that there was time for him to get someone to fill in for you. Not to mention that through the wonders of modern technology like conference calling, video conferences, you still could have been available to answer issues when time permitted. While work is important, life events like getting married, the birth of a child, and the passing of immediate family members are more important. I think that changing companies to one that is a little more sensitive to these things would be a very good idea, especially if it's more money and better benefits. OP replies, I haven't spoken to my wife about it yet. I will as soon as she stops being so angry with me. Fascista says, your wife may not stop being angry with you until you speak to your wife about it, because the anger is probably coming from her fear that you will always put your boss first and will never put her and the baby first. OP says, I have spoken to her about missing the birth, but not the new job change. Shelf Life Inc. replies, sometimes when we try to do everything and please everyone, we end up doing nothing and hurting everyone. From what I can gather, you didn't even get to do the presentation as you were in such a hurry to get home, and you still missed the birth. Bend over backwards to take care of your wife and child and show them that they are your priority, and take this as a lesson for the future. OP says, nope, I missed the presentation. But by the way, you know what you never have to miss? More full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to all the stupid men making stupid men decisions. And there's a little bit more left in this story.
The way there would be such a lack of forgiveness ever. I would not get over that.
I would hold it over his head
So long.
for as long as I know. You're like, oh my gosh, do you remember when you missed the birth of your first child?
Yeah, good luck, buddy, if you guys have a second kid, because you deserve everything that gets thrown at you during that whole pregnancy.
This is just a
And the birth.
guy.
You didn't even make the presentation.
This is a guy who runs his life based on like equations and algorithms. Like, he was running the math on like, okay, well, it's like I could be there, but then if I'm not there and I lose this job, then I lose
He
the
was
ability
running
to
the
provide
math
for my
on-
family, which is that worse than not being there for the birth of my child? And then it's like
And-
neither of them even happened in the first place, and you could have gotten a different job the whole time.
He literally just didn't want to see fluids and blood and his wife's vajayjay opening.
He just didn't ask himself what feels right. He only asked what is right. But what feels right?
He didn't even try. He didn't want
In
to be
the
there. He was
situation.
never going to be there.
You know it felt wrong to not be there, and you did a half measure. Some comments. Comment 1, I love his first update. Guys, it's all okay now. I talked to my boss, and I was super assertive, and I got it all sorted. So, you're no longer flying to the other side of the country a few days before the due date to give a presentation? Oh, no, I'm still doing that. Comment 2, he missed the presentation anyway, so I guess it wasn't that important. Good grief. Yeah, the boss is a jackbutt, but the guy didn't prioritize his wife at any step. It's easier to do it in person. His whole career hinges on the presentation. He doesn't want to get in trouble with his boss by telling the investors his circumstances. He can't risk losing his job. He gets queasy around blood. It's all about him. Except all of that was a straight up lie, apart from him worrying about how stressful the birth would be for him. But it's fine because his mother-in-law can totally replace him during the birth. I hope his wife realizes that he's replaceable in every single arena. Women can pass away in childbirth. For most women, it's the most frightening, vulnerable, dangerous, and painful experience they could go through. Guys who think they can just opt out and who clearly don't have any effing empathy for women are just complete and utter trash.
I liked that commenter. That was lovely.
And that's how it ends, folks. That's the way the cookie crumbles.